Now, first of all, you have to understand the angle of my algorithm. I lean dark. I watch dark things, and in so doing, my computer sells me all that dark. And some of the dark they sell me is just the ratty-tatty crazy behavior that we engage in when we decide, because I feel this way, because I am this way, everybody has to accommodate me. And, people going into places, well, I didn't get what I want, just pooping and hollering and screaming, and no, you can't this and that, and It's very much, or even in courtrooms, I see, people arguing with the judge about what the law is because they done did a Google search. And that 4 years of college, 3 years of law school, and magistrate school, and years of practice don't mean nothing because I did a Google search. I am my organic self, and I try to be authentic all of the time, but I also understand the room that I am, and I respect other human beings need to be cool, calm, and collected and have their own thing. So if we look at it like I'm gonna keep it real, I'm gonna keep it organic, and keeping it a little, to curb your the manner in which you communicate, from angry to simply assertive, from hysterical to just a little upset. That's not being inorganic. That's being mature. That's saying, I feel this way, I want these things, but I can get it like a grown person and not like a 2-year-old. Now, my organic self is outer than all get out. And I understand that. And I understand how I come across to people sometimes. And for the most part, I don't care. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. I'll have a room be arraigning 70 people, and I will speak different lingos, 4 or 5 different kind of lingos and conversation in this, because I need to speak in the language that they hear, or the vernacular with which they're familiar or most comfortable, because then they're most likely to hear me. So this is me, and take it or leave it is a popular notion. I saw it a lot in the book. He knew who I was. He knew that when I married him. But I remember I had this couple on one year, and they both kept saying, he knew who I was, he knew why I married, he knew what I liked, she knew what I liked to do, she knew what I married him. And then I looked at him, I said, well, why did you get married if you intended to stay single?
You to death, because I love you, just betcha. It's just, you that guy. You're a good guy, a kind, caring, hard-working man, and you gonna be daddy. You know what I mean? Daddy's little girl.
She is a daddy's little girl,
which is wonderful. And let me tell you what. Don't you mess with that. Don't you dare. Don't stick your nasty little fingers anywhere in between your children and that man.
I don't have to. He does.
Mrs. Turner, what you say you do now and what you're going to do next year may not be the same thing, because according to both of you, you turned from a good person to what I got here today. And I'm not even going to say what it is you look like. So if you can change that drastically over the course of a couple of years, yes, indeed, I need to warn you about what kind of woman you're going to become and what things you need to do with respect to those children. You're ruining them. You are teaching them no values, no class, no worthiness. You're teaching them to hold out their hand and say, I want, without working. You're teaching them that you don't treat somebody well. If they're not giving you anything, they're not anybody. You're teaching them that value is in their back pocket and not in their heart. You are doing them a grand disservice, and I'm telling you, it's gonna back up on you so hard, because when they turn out to be trifling and no good, if you don't let them near enough, and if you don't do right, they're gonna be trifling and no good in your house, because they won't have anywhere else to go. So don't you mess
what
this
has exacerbated the problem at this point in time is that you make money off of it. One surefire way to get views is to get into a beef with somebody or to say something outrageous about women. Just outrageous. I hold these outrageous opinions, and I say, and that gets you clicks and views and beefing and all that kind of stuff. So when money gets involved in anything, and money's been involved in marriage throughout, but the beefing between the species, between the genders, not that the beefing itself is economically viable. It is its own source of income. And the problem is people who are not making money off of those things are clicking and viewing and getting opinions and ideas off of those things, and then they're living in a world of extremes, and you got your tribe, you got their tribe, and then everybody's trying to front and position. I need a man who makes $300,000 a year. I didn't have a price tag on my dude. I needed a man who was willing to work with me the way I needed to be worked with. That's what I needed. And together, we made more than either one of us when we on. So don't look at the resume. So I don't marry potential. You better. It's the cats who have got it all. They've already got it all. Get a cat you can get something with. And part of my problem in finding that again is what I did between then and now, which is become somewhat of a public figure. I figure about 2 or 3 more years, I'll be off TV for a while. It'll be all right. But that's what it is.
Lakewood means rewind. The gunshot means forward.
I know I'm all over the place, and I apologize. I do. It just... I'm trying to figure out what I need to do to give me purpose instead opposed to an obligation. And I remember when I was a judge in Cleveland, I started a group for young girls, maybe 7 to 10 of them. And I would stay with them all year. They were in a breakout school for troubled kids. That was a passion. I loved it. I'd give them flowers. They got good grades. I wouldn't go pick them up for lunch. If you just, talk to them. Some of them just wanted to be hugged. It was amazing how deprived they were of non-sexual physical touch. And I want to find that again. I got to figure out who I want to be next. Because I don't know. I can't be who I was before I met him. Because I've upgraded a whole lot since then. I'm matured. I have absorbed some of his habits. He's taught me things. So I can't go back to her. But then I wanted to go back to who when I was Mrs. But that's a sad and soggy place. So I gotta find out what I want to be, and I'm such an introvert. I don't like going anywhere, and I spent so much of my time doing what people were telling me to do in order to agree with people. You ought to join this, you ought to join that, you ought to volunteer. I went and started volunteering months after he died, and it was hard to find something that I was into. But I found it. It was this refugee class, and the guy was kind of mean, but I kept going and kept going and kept going, and months and months and months, and I still go. And I don't enjoy it very much. I like the people because we're helping refugees, but the process is difficult. So I've been doing that, and I've been going to Pilates and jabs. I did jiu-jitsu and all that kind of stuff, and I was doing all the things I was supposed to do. None of that lifted me up. It just was another job, if you know what I mean.